What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to the CHGO Bulls Podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck, joined by Big Dave, BAWL Sports, Will, the Go Cowley, perfectly coiffed Will_Cowley. Our panel producer, the one and only, Joey Spathis, on the controls. He's at Joey Spathis.
Joey Gold Chains.
Another late off-season week of content. Kicking off. We're getting closer, y'all.
Yeah.
Bulls Media Day, September 30th.
On the way.
On the way.
We have so many things to discuss.
3 weeks.
That aren't really Bulls related that I want to get out the way now.
Please do.
You, vacation. Talk about it.
Well, first of all, huge thank you to you guys. Huge thank you to Joe. Everybody else who held it down. Thank you to all the guests who came through and had great conversations with you guys last week. Yeah. Shout out to our guy Jamal from Bulls Central.
Yes.
Nate Duncan. Great chat between the two of you. And Modest's coach.
Dimitri.
Shout out.
Dimitri Pershing.
It was great.
It was awesome.
It was lovely to know that you guys were going to hold it down for me while I had a little time away. Spent plenty of time with my family, including, most importantly, of course, my adorable nieces. Shout out to EJ and Rory. Love you, girls. I'll see you soon. Yeah, that's right. Drank all of the beer, ate all of the meats, sat out on a dock, sat in a boat, swam in a lake.
Yeah.
Flawless.
Live the dream.
Flawless.
Yeah.
Rugged road.
Got the Burks honest, man. This is Huckleberry Finn.
I feel like all of our sponsors are just catered specifically towards that. Rugged road.
Amen.
Sunnyside, Coors, Z-Biotics.
Yeah. Man, you're right.
Every self-respecting Midwestern man needs himself at least a couple of canoodlers.
Prize Picks. Matt's literally sitting on his dock, ripping off bets at Prize Picks and Circa. Slugging back Coors Lights.
Oh, you know it.
Out of his rugged road cooler.
Out of his rugged road cooler. Mixing in a couple of Sunnyside products here and there.
And then the next one, taking some Z-Biotics.
You got to drink some Z-Biotics before you get started.
I was even drinking my AG1 up there, staying healthy.
Man. That's impressive, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad that happened.
Free
Appreciate y'all.
Advertising.
Thanks for the break.
Joey, coming to you. Two things. One, how was the wedding?
Wedding was good. Fun time.
All right, the wedding. The wedding.
No, bro.
Right.
We need a little more than that, Joe.
It was a good time. It was fun. Saw some good people and had some people I hadn't seen in a while and enjoyed it.
That's cool. All right.
Enjoyed the time with good people.
The wedding that was the same day as the big Texas game.
Which leads me into the next question. Tell me, talk your shit, Joe.
Do the Bulls talk shit when they beat the Pistons? They probably do now because
they if you recall, did not beat the Pistons last year.
Yeah, they lost twice.
With the Bulls, with the Lakers, would the Nuggets talk shit if they beat the Pistons? No. So Texas isn't going to talk shit when we beat Michigan, regardless of them being the reigning national champs, because take care of business. That's what you do when you're the best team in the country. And
humble as ever.
Just the beginning for these Longhorns.
Talk that, Joey.
Welcome.
You don't see the shirt that he's wearing right now.
Never a doubt, by the way. I've been telling people around the office they were going to win. They were going to cover.
I remember.
Both those things occurred.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt. Okay. Last piece of business here. The CHGO Bears tailgate.
Yo.
Incredible time.
Shout out to everybody who came out.
Yes. That was awesome, man.
Awesome time.
Matt showed up. Came right off the vacation to the tailgate.
I was actually stunned to see you there. I thought you were going to be.
Oh, I knew he was
came home so I could be at our week one tailgate.
Every last moment of Mish, but no.
No, he came home.
It was great
also,
to have you.
To have some beers.
To my Bears fan meatheadedness, I was like, I am going to that week one tailgate.
Yes, it was fun.
Running through walls.
Yeah, it was a good time. Shout out to all the CHGO Bulls fans that we met that were there. Shout out to the couple from Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
That we met and talked to. They were awesome.
Engagement photos / Bears Week 1 home opener.
Correct.
Reason for their visit back to Chicago.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Exactly, man.
Which one was the higher priority?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Who knows?
They say they enjoyed listening to us. She said her fiance makes her listen to us, but she likes the fact that we have pleasant voices.
Yes.
So we make it easy to talk about this team and beat children.
Easier than ever.
So that's awesome. And shout out to Thomas. I met Thomas right when you guys had left already.
Okay.
But Thomas is a huge fan of what we do here.
What's going on, Thomas?
So shout out to him. He was a little shy to talk to me, which is always a trip. But his girl was like, "Oh, go over there, say hi to him and stuff, man." But he's a great dude. You know what I mean? Shout out to his lady as well. Took a picture with him and everything, man. He was very happy to meet me, and he really enjoys what we do here.
It's very cool.
So
I love it.
Shout out to Thomas.
When we show up to other events that are for Chicago's other teams and our other CHGO coverage, crews, just because we're all team players, and people want to talk Bulls with us.
Yeah.
Like this time of year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, man, I love the Bulls, but can we not?
It was funny. Watching
on NFL draft night or at our week 1 tailgate.
Yeah,
it's like, so what do you think about Josh Giddey? Like, nothing right now. I'm thinking about Caleb freaking Williams right now.
Yeah, they met a little drunk Ucky, man.
Hey.
So he didn't want to get into the Bulls too much, man.
I was still technically on vacation.
He was technically on vacation, man. It's technically right there. But he had fun. It was great. They definitely talked to the GOAT. I'm sure you got to talk some Bulls.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, but yeah, just shout out to everybody who came out, man, and showed love, bro. It was fun. Hope to see y'all at the next one. Hope to see y'all week 3 at the watch party.
That's right.
Come on through.
And
Hopefully
can
the Bears
confirm.
offense looks a little bit better between then and now.
Hey, man, who needs more than 150 offensive yards?
Most NFL
Defensive
teams in order to
touchdown,
win
special
games.
teams touchdown,
Most.
couple of field goals.
That stat that you saw was crazy. Did you see this stat?
Yeah,
bro?
since 2006 is this one you're talking
2000. Since 2000.
about? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That no team has won a game with fewer than 150 yards since 2006.
Oh no, that's 2006. That's another stat.
I think that was the one that I was thinking of at least. Which after the game it was like the Bears had 149 all-purpose yards.
That's crazy. No, the one I saw was since 2000. Teams who have been trailing at halftime.
Oh, I saw that one.
Trailing by at least 2 touchdowns at halftime without scoring an offensive touchdown.
In the entire game.
In the entire game. The record is 3-306.
Yeah,
and the Bears have 2 of those victories.
That game was so,
They are who we thought they were.
so Bears.
Let them off the hook.
So Bears.
So Bears.
Strip
All of the
sack,
changes, all the offensive
pick six,
weapons, like
special teams touchdown
Yep.
and field goals and 0 touchdowns.
so great.
And not for a second did I think we were losing. How were you?
Yeah, I bet
thought about you.
By the way, bet the live line. Bears plus 380 at halftime when they were down 17.
You bet it?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, let's go.
Flex.
Let's go. Get on them.
Stacking them checks.
How were you during that game?
16
Because
sweet dollars.
I thought about that, and I said to myself in my head, I think I made the right decision today by not hanging out with Matt and coming to watch this game at the studio.
Shout out to Brother Dave for hosting me and a few of my
shout out.
friends yesterday at his place. Really convenient. He lives in the South Loop. So we just walked there from our tailgate.
Yeah.
First half was no bueno. I was throwing things, hats included. I was slamming my fists against various walls of his living room, pacing furiously the entire time, head buried in my hands. I watched most of the game like this.
Oh my God.
It was Meathead Bears Matt was in critical condition at halftime of that game.
Yeah, I pictured it because I've seen it before.
But then the turnaround, man.
Yeah.
I went from negative 100 to, oh, God, to 150 million.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. It was fun, man. It was fun. I not for one second thought they were losing that game. If they went down 31-0, then maybe. But I didn't. If they went 24, I still wouldn't have thought that way. But yeah, they got the win.
Will
Let's move
Levis
to the
is
next one.
so bad.
Who was?
Will Levis.
Oh, he's not a good quarterback.
He is not a good quarterback.
He tried inspiring his team.
That pick six was a
That
gift.
pick
That was
six was absolutely the dumbest play I've seen.
Well, hey now. Let's not just go taking credit away from Torrey Craig and Andre Drummond.
In a football game.
In a football match.
Okay, in the football.
Just go down.
Got you.
There was a play like that too where Caleb tried to spin out of a tackle and then you just go down.
Lost
you're-
25
You lost
yards.
20 and now it's 2nd and 29.
Took
what are
him
we
right
doing
out
here?
of the field goal contention. Yeah, I
Just go
remember
down.
that. But again, I can equate his to being a rookie.
Yeah.
Will Levis is just Will Levis.
What's your excuse? You played 4 games.
Yeah.
Exactly, dog. Seriously.
Speaking of boneheaded people yesterday, Maddie saying in the comments after the Velas fumble, OMG, who should we sign instead of Velas' message to the world? Yeah, I figured you got the van ready, Dave.
I mean, listen, the van is always
out of here.
Bad shape, but the engine always runs great because there will be no problems getting you up out of here, dog.
Does anybody within like this Bulls crew can like fit in the van with Velas Jones Jr. that you feel is van worthy right now?
Oh, that's a
like
good
a month
question.
away from training camp.
I mean, you know I don't like talking about the hometown, Matt. You know I hate it.
It's true. Guess what? We got some more.
But my man Javon, I'm just saying, brother. The first thing they put up, Carter. Yeah, my man. Hey, man. I'm just saying. He's looking at the van. He's looking at it. You know what I mean? He's just looking at it. He's not in it yet. I can't put him in yet, but he's looking at it. But that's why I have a fleet for Velas Jones because I want to make sure it's going to be like. You know what I'm saying? Like the president was
You're getting him like the caravan.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll be in one of the vans.
Yes.
And then on either end.
What do they call it when the president
motorcade?
Motorcade, yes.
Yeah.
Motorcade.
Presidential motorcade.
Of vans.
But just like the motorcade of, hey, Velas Jones Jr.
Yes.
You're fired.
The motorcade of trash. Get up out of here, dog. It's got to go.
Yeah.
It's got to go. It's too many of these plays since you've been here. It's got to stop. You've got to go. You can't hang around the unlucky.
Yeah.
He did have a couple of nice plays, but just don't like DeAndre Carter was good back there. Just exactly. Take him out of that job.
When you have someone else who's sufficient in that job and you keep screwing that job up, why have the job?
Why?
Also, I agree. I was talking with my brother about this message to the world in the comments saying Colin Johnson should take that dude's spot. You know, preseason superhero, but like, man,
they cut him.
Gigantic guy.
Yeah.
Caught every ball thrown his direction,
he did.
Including some really impressive ones in the red zone. Like, you want to keep him around, maybe?
Yeah, they definitely cut him. We're looking at
Colin Johnson
and see if he's going to be hurt too. You know what I mean? So wait to see what that MRI is going to be.
Joey's entered the chat.
Where did Colin Johnson play his college ball?
He went to Texas.
Was it Michigan? Oh, okay.
Is that why he got cut?
Well, if he went to Michigan, I don't think he would be playing in the NFL if he was a receiver.
I don't think he's in the NFL.
Well, it's a practice squad player.
Practice. All right.
Fun fact, he played you sat in front of me in my first class ever.
Good job.
Sat in front of me in my first class.
Oh, my goodness.
What did he say?
Colin Johnson sat in front of him in his first class.
Oh, snap.
Ever.
What?
What class was this?
This was, I don't remember I just remember the systematic naming. It was Kin 312 with Dr. Bowers. It was like a early on sports management class. He sat one row in front of me. He had 200 yards against USC when I was a freshman, and I remember he was sitting in front of me watching the highlights from that game, and I thought that was the coolest thing that I'd ever seen. That he was watching his own highlights. And really, really talented player in college.
He was.
Good NFL player too.
I didn't think he was bad with the Giants either, but yeah, he did. And like you said, in that preseason, he showed out.
Yeah,
but
incredible.
He didn't make it. And just keep him on call though, because we're top heavy at receiver. The depth isn't that strong.
Did they keep him around in their practice squad? I didn't see. They did? Okay,
squad?
good. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Guess what? Velas, you're fired. Colin Johnson.
Yeah, Colin Johnson.
You're promoted.
Come on up, buddy. Come on up. Hook him.
So, Joseph, I know I saw you in there. Did you do a Bears season prediction for that video we put out like the other day?
I did not.
With all the CHGO people?
Do you have
Because Big Dave and I just went full meathead.
Yeah.
Predicting undefeated season. So we're on track.
Right? Yeah.
We're on track,
right? Yeah.
Joey, I think, what did you say? 11-6? Also on track.
Okay, on track.
Goat.
I would probably go 9-8 or 10-7.
That sounds like you.
Such a level-headed
Yeah,
answer.
that's a good answer. That's a good answer.
But that's like a really good season.
Yeah, no, we agree.
Incredible.
We just wanted the meatheadedness. That's all.
But
honestly,
that would be 2 or 3 wins more than last season when they choked away 3 very winnable games.
Correct. They did.
If they play the way that they played yesterday, they're not going to win 9 games.
No, not at all.
That was awful.
But I don't expect the offense to play.
I don't expect Keenan Allen to drop a touchdown.
Yes,
dude.
But like, man, the interior offensive line was so bad.
Oh,
it was a runway.
Yo, there's a van humming, waiting on you too, sir.
They need to figure that out.
I think Bears fans are used to worrying about their offensive line week to week, every year, every football season.
Balls batted into the air. Like I feel like he got lucky not
so
throwing
weird.
any picks yesterday.
Yeah, man.
They could not get any offensive rhythm going. That was
it was tough.
Okay,
we won.
This is a Bulls pod. We'll talk about Bulls and their fresh signings on the other side of the break here on CHGO Bulls. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Our friends at Sunnyside are here to help you elevate your summer. And there's clearly a little bit of it left because it's hot in Chicago today. My goodness.
Yes.
Football weather was perfect on Sunday.
It was perfect.
Absolutely perfect. Tailgate weather, perfect as well. Sunnyside's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. A crazy selection. They've got over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Wherever you are in Chicago, wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. Spots as far south as Champaign, as far north as South Beloit, the burbs, the city, you name it. Stop in the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff or select from quality lines like Cresco or Florical. And here for these summer and early fall months is the good news. Tea Time disposable vape, bringing classic lemonade flavor that's perfect for the golf course because we all need a little help staying loose on the green. Also, try the Free Spirit vapes and cartridges are all new from Good News with lush mango flavor. These vapes are perfect for tapping into your flower power. I, of course, also big fan of the Good News brand Brunch tangerine flavored gummies. Mwah, perfect. I'm going to pick some up. You can too by visiting sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3, count them 1, 2, 3 online purchases. Just use promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 and over or Illinois Med card holders.
Oh, we continue with the Matt Peck ads up in here because between work, social media, and the choices life throws your way, it's no wonder we're more worked up. And when that man gets worked up, he chooses chill. He chooses a icy cold, frosty good Coors Light. You can choose it too and celebrate rising above and choosing a chill mindset. Why not turn that rained out barbecue into the 1,654th annual Will to Go Gottlieb karaoke house party? It's the white party this year, y'all. Make sure you dress accordingly. Will's a stickler for these things. Or after a tough loss, settle scores with an ice cold peace offering. Make the choice to choose chill and then reach for a Coors Light. It's a mountain cold refreshment because when the mountains turn blue, oh yes, you know what to do. It's as cold as the Rockies. Cold lager, cold filter, and cold package for a smoother finish. So when you embrace a chill mindset, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open that Coors Light and that wonderful mountain cold refreshment that is crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. Make the most out of the times to choose chill. Choose Coors Light. Get it delivered straight to your door via Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Basketball. That's CoorsLight.com/CHGO Basketball. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
You know, I missed you guys while I was gone.
Missed you too,
Missed
man.
a lot of things about all of you,
Yes.
my lovely friends.
Yes.
One of the things I just realized I missed most was hearing Dave say Rockies when saying Colorado Rockies. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I feel like Titans fans might be
Appreciate
in need of a chill mindset right now.
They need it now.
Those poor Titans fans.
Poor Titans
all
fans.
6 of them.
Yeah, I've met them all 6.
Yeah, oh, yeah?
Walking to the thing. They all looked at me like, whoa, he's a huge person. I said, damn right, and I'm fine.
His name is Big Dave.
Enjoy the game.
Okay, so
You lost.
over the last few days, we did get some Bulls roster news, and it may just be training camp roster news, but it is roster news, so
Yes.
we can discuss that, a couple of additions, and then on the back end of the show, I wanted to touch on an interesting little tidbit from our guy Joe Cowley's latest write-up
Okay.
in the Sun-Times about Zach LaVine, his relationship with the front office of this team. So let's dive into it. Chronologically speaking, Shams Charania back on September 4th last week reported that free agent guard Talen Horton-Tucker has agreed to a partially guaranteed deal with the Bulls. Sources tell The Athletic. Chicago native returns home and will have an opportunity to make the Bulls roster after averaging 10.5 points over his 2 seasons in Utah. Played high school ball at Simeon.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Rose. Played college ball at Iowa State. Gross. Gar Forman, don't come close to me. And then second round pick, 46 overall by the Lakers. It was actually a draft night trade that acquired the rights to him from Orlando. He was actually in the trade that brought Patrick Beverley to the Lakers after he was technically a Utah Jazz for half a second from the Rudy Gobert trade with Minnesota. Kind of a meh start to his NBA career through the past 4 seasons. He's played in 65, 60, 65, and then 51 games, spanning 2 seasons with the Lakers, 2 seasons with the Jazz. What What are you guys' initial thoughts on throwing THT into the training camp mix?
Well, my first thought was the interview Will and I did with Coach Dimitri Pearson, Flex, when he talked about playing Simeon and just how they destroyed, you know what I'm saying, the team, and he questioned, was he good at coaching just because of how dominant they were.
Yeah.
But shout out to that. But no, THT, I've always liked him as a player. I think you described him that when you said, man, like I know what you're saying. You know what I mean? Just average.
He's a real meh player.
Yeah, just kind of average in that middle kind of thing, who could have a game where he gets you like 20 because he just goes on a heater like that. But just kind of stays, you know, like kind of level. The 10 points a game is a great example and attest to that kind of thing.
And double-digit scoring is primarily off the bench.
Yes, correct.
Mostly been a bench player so far.
Which is a skill, you know what I mean? So, and to do it, you know, with the Lakers and doing it at Utah and these teams like that, and just kind of finding his, you know, little role within that and still helping those teams and providing some points for those squads. So, yeah, I feel like he's kind of in the middle, you know what I mean? And he's a pro. I look at him as such, a guy who can have that 10-year career because you're not going to get any real issues out of him. He's going to go in there. He's going to be professional. He's going to play. I'm cool with him having this opportunity to come in preseason and just challenge, you know, some more of these guys out there because, again, this is how it should be, especially for this kind of team. Bring in as much talent as you possibly can, and let's see, you know, what cards fall at the end of the day. And he's going to get that opportunity.
Yeah, he's a super interesting player. He's 6'4", 235, according to Basketball Reference. I believe he has like a 6'11 wingspan, so he's super long, lanky, but like pretty thick and like not explosive. Like he's kind of I don't want to say he's like not an athlete, but he's just not like a very high flying player. Like he's kind of a ground bound player. But he's an interesting passer. He is mostly like a scorer and non-shooter. And I think that's kind of the issue with it, but we can save that for later and just say like, I think bringing him in on an Exhibit 10 contract to have him participate in training camp, compete for a final spot. Like right now, the Bulls situation is they have 15 full-time NBA roster spots filled. Owner Alpatim is partially guaranteed. After that partial guarantee picks up, there's one, like it picks up for some amount of money at the start of the season, and then there's a second date in January. If you pick that up, then it becomes fully guaranteed for the year. So I think what it seems like the Bulls are trying to do here is bring in Talen Horton-Tucker, bring in Kenneth Lofton, bring in Domask, bring in some of these other guys, EJ Liddell, who we'll talk about in a second here, to compete for that final spot. And maybe they keep Bidham and they let him keep that spot. Maybe they sign one of these guys to one of their final two-way spots. THT does not qualify for that because he's been in the league for more than 4 years. But maybe Liddell or Kenneth Lofton could be that final two-way.
Okay.
Or maybe you cut Bidham because he's not guaranteed at the start until the start of training camp, and then you bring in one of these guys to be your 15th and final roster spot. Okay. So I think that's what they're trying to do. They're giving themselves flexibility. They're bringing in a bunch of young players that they can try out and see if they could be good enough to make the roster. None of these guys are like sure thing star players. They're all very flawed, very, you know, some of them have been bouncing around different teams. THT has been on like 3 or 4 teams now. Kenneth Lofton has been on 3 or 4 teams now. EJ Liddell, this is going to be his second team. So it's not like these guys are sure thing prospects, but when you enter an era of, again, I don't know if we're calling it a rebuild, a retool, whatever it may be, like they are turning the roster into something else right now. And so they're looking for young talent to come in. And this is the way you do it. You bring guys in training camp, you bring them on 2 ways, you bring them on 10-day contracts, and you try them out, you see what they got, and then you move on. If they're not good enough, and you bring in the next guy, or if he's good, then you keep him around and you see what happens. So I think that's the right approach. But yeah, Talen Horton-Tucker, I think in terms of his actual on the court play, I don't have a ton of belief in him based on what we've seen. He's had a couple of really explosive scoring nights, 40 plus points a couple of times. I think that's kind of been an exciting thing for people, especially playing for the Lakers. But I think he's an interesting flyer on talent. I just don't know how good of a fit it's going to be or if he can put it all together. We'll have to see.
Our fellow Bulls fans in the comments chiming in on THT. Derek mentioning that he saw a video on YouTube of THT squaring up against Io in a high school game back in the day. The energy was crazy. Would be cool to see him reunite on the Bulls squad. Derek, also one of a few in the comments getting jokes off about Batum and his likelihood of holding on to that partially guaranteed spot. Batum is going to be fighting for his life at training camp. Sure. Fish saying Batum totally cut by the beginning of the season. Eco Bean saying bye-bye Batum. Aww. But, Eco Bean also mentioned he had THT on his Bulls wish list coming out of the draft. So, like, I think I'm pretty much in line with what most of GOAT said there as far as evaluating his THT's game, what works well for him, what are his strengths and weaknesses. The other thing that I thought of, Big Dave, is that, like, when you look at this roster and whatever the goals for this roster are coming into this season, roster construction is still important wherever you are. Are you in a retool, a rebuild, whatever? Sure. And as of right now, this team, this roster is still very guard heavy.
Correct.
So throwing THT into the mix, can you earn a roster spot at training camp? Want to at least take a closer look at you? It's like, do we really need another combo guard on this roster right now with all of the guards that this roster already has?
I hear you. But also, just like Will said, it's that 6'11" wingspan that kind of allows him to cheat at the 3 a little bit. So you can get away with that there. But, yeah, 6'4" dude, another combo guard in here in training camp. But this is the kind of thing I like, Matt, because you're bringing in people that have actual NBA talent and not just guys we're wishing and hoping has that kind of talent. So that's the kind of competition I want in training camp, is guys who are really fighting to stay and really want it and have proven themselves on some kind of level in this league that they can actually be good.
Right. I mean, he's averaged over 21 minutes per game as a bench player for 4 years of an NBA career.
Yeah, exactly. Again, steady, just a steady kind of player. So this is what I like, you know what I mean? And it makes training camp and the preseason a little more exciting and a little more fun to watch guys actually go at it, because they really want this kind of spot. But not just guys going at it, guys who are like, no, they'll play in this league. We're not competing for G leagues. You know what I mean? We're not competing for two-way contracts.
Right.
I want to play on this squad right now, on this roster, and I'm going to do what I can to get on there. And that's why I like bringing in these kind of veterans, no matter the position.
So I think, like, position and fit does matter. Clearly, like, you have to put a roster out there that, like, makes sense.
Sure.
You can't just, like, throw 5 centers out there.
Right.
But I also think, like...
Or can you?
Okay. Joker?
I also think that, like, at this point for the Bulls, like, I just don't think you need to be, like, concerned about, does this guy belong as a 2 or a 1? Or, it's like, they just need talent in the door. And, like, maybe THT is freaking awesome, and that allows you to move on from one of your other players that's going to end up costing you more. Or maybe that allows you to attach one of your younger players to Zach LaVine in order to move him.
That's a good point.
I think it just gives you flexibility. Again, I'm not, like, the biggest THT fan. I don't think not to say, like, I don't like him. I think he's got flaws that are, to me, problematic for how you succeed in the NBA. It's a similar problem to Giddey, right? It's like, he's very much a ball in the hands kind of guy, right? He creates offense. He does it off the dribble. He's not really like an off-ball shooter or floor spacer or mover. And so in order to warrant having the ball full time as a point guard, you need to be so good that it keeps the offense functioning at a high level. And if you're not that good, then what are you doing off the ball to earn yourself minutes? And I think that's been his struggle in his career so far.
Okay.
He got minutes with Utah last year because the Utah Jazz were really bad and they were trying guys out.
Sure.
And that's kind of where he was able to, like, continue on in the NBA. And so I think it's a fine, like, flyer on talent, but I have my questions about it. And so I think the other side of that, to your point, Matt, is that, like, you are trying to develop this crop of young players. You've got Modest in there. You've got Giddey. You've got Kobe. You've got Ayo. You've got Patrick Williams. You've got a bunch of young players that you want to develop.
Yeah.
How does it impact them when you bring in players that need the ball and can't shoot and can't space the floor and can't help you get better? And so I do think that is a question. But again, we're talking about an Exhibit 10 contract, a guy who's probably not going to end up making the roster. I have no problems with this. I think it's the right approach. But if this is, like, now becomes a theme of, like, we're going after these guys that can't shoot and, can't space the floor, like, now that becomes an issue, right? When you're actually trying to build that roster. But I don't think that's exactly what they're trying to do here.
No.
Yeah. If with the departure of DeMar, you're trying to maybe finally evolve into a more prolific 3-point shooting team, because,
that's what you should be.
Again, one more time for the road. Credit to DeMar for adding threes into his game. Yeah. Because he did that. But, THT is a career 29% 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
music to Bulls fans' ears when you hear that kind of thing.
And like Kenneth Lofton, not a shooter. EJ Liddell shot 27% in his rookie year. Like, I think it's the Bulls clearly have belief in their player development system that they can turn non-shooters into shooters.
Peter Patton.
We've seen.
Caruso had a career year behind the three-point line. Io just had a really strong bounce-back year behind the three-point line.
At the same time, Vooch had his worst year. So, I don't think that just Peter Patton equals everybody becomes an elite shooter.
Well,
right.
Clearly,
but I do think that is kind of their hope with trying out a lot of these guys.
Fair enough. Let's talk EJ Liddell coming up next after this quick break. CHGO Bulls. Today's show brought to you by Prize Picks. Oh, football season is back, y'all. And Uncle Matt is happy. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because unlike other DFS apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're not battling anybody else. No weirdos with their spreadsheets and algorithms and their, in their great Aunt Trudy's basement. No, it's just you using your own brain and the numbers you like. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 different player stat projections, the game that you are excited to watch that day, and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. And Bears fans, listen up. This part's for you. Caleb Williams, passing yards, 1. Didn't have a great day yesterday.
Did not.
Still cleared it because every Bears game in the month of September, you get 1 Caleb Williams passing yard, and that is a hit on Prize Picks for you. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's on Prize Picks thanks to Caleb Williams making a passing yard. So, download that Prize Pick app today. Use promo code CHGO and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CHGO on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It is guaranteed win or lose. Prize Picks, run your game.
And the Matt Peck ads continue
Whoop, whoop.
because it's Rugged Road Cooler time,
Oh,
y'all. Canooler. Rugged Road.
He broke himself.
Rugged Road, baby. You can't be a canooler without some Rugged Road in your life.
Can't be done.
Can't do it. Impossible. Can't do it.
Can't coach with them.
Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurous people who demand the best. Our products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions, whether you're on land or water or sea. Rugged Road gear. It's built to accompany you for every single adventure. They got that floatability. We know Matt loves that. It's one of the most unique features of the Rugged Road Cooler is their ability to always float upright. Never lose a drink. It's Matt Peck. Lightweight design. It's not heavy. Durability and dependability. And of course, versatility. It is perfect for a variety of outdoor activities, y'all. That's right. From fishing to tubing to canoeing to camping to tailgating. These coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast, or if you're both, Matt Peck. So gear up for the next adventure with Rugged Road Coolers, reliable, durable, and built to be used. I love that. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com. That's ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use the code CHGO and get yourself $10 off Rugged Road Coolers. Canooler.
I love a good canooler, man.
That's right.
I love my Rugged Road Cooler.
Official sponsor of Canoolers everywhere.
Vouched. I did not need to bring mine to our tailgate yesterday, however.
Yes.
Not BYO cooler because, my gosh, you know what is like one of the most beautiful sights? And I saw it on Instagram when I was making my way down to the tailgate because shout out to our crew who set up early and got that thing started at the crack of dawn.
Oh, Braggs,
I was not part of that crew. Shout out to Braggs.
Shout out Braggs, bro.
And everybody else. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Jake.
Yeah.
Those giant bins that look like, Animal Farm feeding troughs, but they're just filled with ice and icy water and delicious Coors Lights and all of the other delicious beers in that Molson Coors family.
Yeah, man.
It is just,
it definitely.
It's a beautiful sight.
It definitely looks like something you used to bathe in.
Oh, yeah.
The early 1900s.
Yes.
But
It's one of those outside tubs.
You're exactly right. Use the outside tub. What are you doing, Jeb? Use the outside tub. But yeah, it
Jacking manure all through my house.
I think I broke Will.
Jeb? Who's Jeb?
The 1910s, Jeb.
Jeb Bush?
All those Jebs that were,
Jebs.
dirtying up people's
That's right.
houses
Jeb,
in the early
Jasper.
1900s.
Jasper's there too. You know what I mean? All of them, man.
Shout out to all the Jebs out there.
Theodore, he's out there.
Obadiah?
Jebediah? Yeah, Jebediah's in
Obadiah.
the building. Obadiah's in the building as well, man. All of them are representing and in that tub.
Shout out Obi Toppin.
That's right.
Obadiah Toppin.
But this much ice, that much beer, that much awesomeness. We use it now to consume some awesome Coors Light.
Oh, man.
It is a great sight.
Beers go in the outdoor tub.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beers in the outdoor tub, guys.
In the outdoor tub.
Beers
All right.
and baths in the outdoor tub.
Act like you got some sense.
Have some class.
Use that outdoor tub. Have some class. Prudence.
Who's Jeb?
Prudence. Get the truck, Prudence. We got to get the outside tub.
Sheila, don't make me get the hose. Oh man, my family and I watched Mrs. Doubtfire when we were all together over the Mish House this past week. God, I forgot how good that movie is.
I forget how good Pierce Bronson was in there.
Oh, so
I
good.
usually forget how good he is in that. Yeah, yes, good movie. Sally Field, shout out.
I mean, incredible cast.
Yeah, great
Top
cast
to bottom.
in there.
Harvey Fierstein.
Yes, absolutely.
Just aces.
Awesome stuff.
Okay, what were we talking about? Oh, right. The
Jeb.
Bulls training camp signings. EJ Liddell.
Yeah.
Another local product. Are AK and Eversley just trying to make a team that is comprised of 100% people who are from the greater Chicagoland area or Illinois?
My friend said, they're trying to turn it to the Chicago Bulls.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Our guy Tim Sinclair, every starting lineup, every night, every player.
From
From Chicago.
Chicago.
From Chicago.
Also from Chicago. So this report came from
Seriously.
Hoops Hype's Michael Scotto. Broke this one, saying the Bulls have agreed to a deal with EJ Liddell. Illinois native played for the Pelicans last season in only just a handful of games. 41 overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft, when I believe we had Talen Terry as our guy, right?
Correct.
But as I recall, and I think I saw you mention this, Big Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if it was in our chat or on Twitter, but we talked a lot of EJ Liddell leading up to that 2022 draft on this year program because local guy, big basketball program like Ohio State, one and done player, and people were projecting him as a top. Or as a first round pick.
Yeah.
He ends up sliding all the way to 41 on draft night. People had their different theories and reasons for why. Mm-hmm. And then he blows an ACL, misses his first, what would have been his rookie year.
Yeah. I remember you and I had him pretty highly rated. I know he was on Will's radar for sure. But
I had him a little bit lower. I think I was like late 20s,
right,
early 30s.
Yeah.
And when we talked about him initially, I think I was really high. And then after we went through the process, he kind of slid down. But yeah, I mean, he's an interesting player. And again, I think it's another example of like, you try out guys who have some potential here. And like what we liked about him is he's a big body. He can kind of guard multiple positions. He had a really good shot blocking numbers, if I recall, at Ohio State, and he could shoot the three. And so you have a big guy like that who can maybe spread the floor a little bit, maybe defend a couple positions, rebound a little bit. That's interesting. That's the kind of guy you need as a role player. Correct. And that's, I think, what you're not getting with Kenneth Lofton and with Talen Horton-Tucker is guys that can play off the ball. I think Liddell kind of fits into that role. So I was more excited about him. He did, as we mentioned, fall outside the first round into 41 in the draft. Tears his ACL in summer league, so we haven't really gotten to see him play. But now a year removed from that, this is where he's like back in shape and trying to make a name for himself. So I think this is a really good signing.
I do too. Like I said, I really liked him a lot. He checked all the boxes for me. Even the meathead boxes he was checking for me because it was like, ooh, a dude who likes a bruiser like that, but he's got touch, you know what I'm saying, on the outside as well. So a guy who could be a scorer and a rebounder, yes, please, yes, put him on my team. I would like this very much. I mean, obviously he had the injury, as Will just mentioned, before he even had a chance.
Anytime a player comes back with a torn ACL,
it's tough, man.
It's tough, and it's an accomplishment and a credit to them for doing so.
Without a doubt. And then again, speaks to his mental, as you just mentioned right there. So, yeah, that's a big deal, and I think he's coming back super hungry he lost the position because of injury. Like, it wasn't because of the talent or anything that we didn't see. And he definitely had ups too.
Right.
Like he could dunk that joint.
Right.
So everything about him I just really liked, and I'm really glad he's getting this opportunity to come in now because, again, he can play a position. He can play that forward, which is something the Bulls are kind of lacking. You know what I mean? And don't have a lot of depth at that. We know we got guards.
Right.
we got that for days. But that front court is where they need some more help at, and they need more bodies. So he has a better opportunity to make some noise and an impact on his team as far as getting on the roster.
AJ Katz in the comments saying, Liddell, I like this fit on the roster. Stretch 3 or 4 who can play some defense. Hope he makes the team. I mean, heck, he's listed at 6'7".
Yeah.
For Billy Donovan, we might be looking at the new Terry Taylor for your 24-25 Chicago Bulls.
That's the great.
That's your backup 5.
The great. That's great.
When you find a Trevor Vooch, Jalen Smith becomes the starting center.
Yeah.
EJ Liddell, backup 5.
That's got Lee Small ball all day. Let's run.
I mentioned
14 points, 6 rebounds.
Yeah.
48, 34 on 3, 75% from the line at Ohio State. He had where is it here? 8.5% block rate. So like he is, I think, really versatile as a big, and I think that's really what makes him an exciting prospect.
For sure. The stats in his just 8 regular season appearances he made for the Pelicans last year ain't much because he barely played 3 minutes a game in those appearances, and there were only 8 of them. You want a larger sample size that's more recent than his year at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Have you been watching Birmingham Squadron action?
You know, I missed a couple
The G League affiliate of the New Orleans Pelicans?
I missed a couple.
I never miss a Squadron game, Dave.
You talk about it all the
Constantly.
time. All
They're
the
like
time.
neck and neck with my Bulls fandom right now.
The squad is what Matt calls him. He loves him.
I mean, come on.
Just a great name for a team, though.
Yeah,
Squadron.
Pretty good.
Come on.
Birmingham.
Squad.
Shout out MJ.
Yes.
The White Sox Barons version.
Correct.
But so in 26 games for the Birmingham Squadron this past season, Liddell put up nearly 18 points a game on shooting splits of 50, love that, 27, don't love that, and almost 80% from the charity stripe, while grabbing nearly 8 boards and blocking nearly 2 blocks, blocking nearly 2 shots per game. Those are respectable numbers.
He's physical and he's angry when he plays. But yet he does that while also being very smooth in his game. And I love the balance that he has. And I want to go back and watch some of the Black Sheep Squadron games right there in Birmingham. But I want to see how he was playing and how he was getting these 17 points. Because he just feels like he is a hungry dude and something to prove when something is taken away from you that you really have no control over. That it feels like guys like that always have something to prove. And now, again, coming back home, and AK loves the homecoming. He feels guys play a little bit differently when you're in your jersey, which there's definitely the case to be made for that, for sure. But EJ Liddell, I just think is hungry no matter what. And I'm interested. I'm really just interested to watch him in training camp and in the preseason, man, because it's going to be some bodies getting, smacked around.
Yeah, and all these guys that they're signing are really like big, strong dudes. Like Lofton, huge. Talen Horton-Tucker, huge.
Not too old at all.
J. Liddell, huge. So I think he gives you the best combination of upside, youth, and like somebody who can fit into a system and into a scheme.
Yeah.
And so that's
a good way to put it.
Makes me a little bit more excited about him than these other 2 guys that they signed. Is like you're not calling any plays for him. He just helps the other guys around him get better. And we've talked a lot about the guard depth on this team and the wing depth relative to the wing depth. There's not a lot. You're talking about Patrick Williams. Maybe Booz Ellis becomes a 4 at some point. He's probably a little too skinny to do that right now. You got Dalen Terry. Maybe he's a 4. Julian Phillips, obviously Torrey Craig is not going to be a long-term solution. So like who are the guys that you can slide in at the power forward backup spot and give you some floor spacing and give you some rebounding and rim protection? He really fits all those boxes. He checks all those boxes. And I think that's a smart signing.
That's a great point, Will. Like, how many players do the Bulls have on this team where no matter what you're running out there on offense, they are able to fit in because they don't really need the basketball, but they can affect what's going on that side of the court. Io is definitely one of those guys.
My first name that was in my brain when you posed that question.
He's definitely one of those guys. He'll fit in wherever you need him to do, he'll do it. EJ is definitely that kind of player as well, man. You're absolutely right on that one.
In regards to EJ Liddell, our guy finished the comments saying, here's another guy who will out-rebound Pat.
Oh, man.
Ouch. Also, He didn't actually say, here's a guy. He just said, another guy.
Another guy.
I'm sorry. It's because I was listening to Chris Collinsworth on the Sunday Night Football broadcast
Here's
last
a guy.
night. Last voice I heard, and it was ringing in my ears, and I woke up the next morning. Now here's a guy.
Here's a guy.
It is his Mike Breen's bang.
Yeah.
Collinsworth.
Yeah.
Wait, did you guys? There's a new commercial with him in it that was airing during football yesterday.
I didn't see it.
Where he's just saying, "Now here's a guy," right out of the gate in the commercial, and I was like, "Is this because we're all in on the joke? Is Collinsworth in on the joke and making fun of himself?"
Time to trade.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
Or is that the people who were writing that commercial like, we got to make him say this right out of the gate?
Why did they take his slide away?
I don't know.
I mean, that was just terrible decision, man. We looked forward to
Collinsworth slide.
Yes.
It's the only part of Collinsworth that I enjoy usually on most game nights of the Sunday night foots.
Oh, not the foots.
I mean,
the foots.
I love the foots. Don't love Collinsworth so much.
Yeah, fair point.
Nothing personal.
No, not at all.
It's just voice.
Just like what you like.
Voice is kind of obnoxious.
And Matt doesn't like much. But yeah. That's what it is.
I like plenty of things, Dave. I like canoolers. I like Bears victories.
Yeah. Just run down the ads. If you want to look at what Matt likes, just run down the ads.
I like my Sunnyside products.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, man, Prize Picks, Circa, all of it. You know what I mean? Whatever we're promoting.
Yeah.
This guy.
Okay, so those are the two additions to training camp. It'll be interesting to see what THT and Liddell show us, and if any of either of them can leapfrog owner Al Patim in the eyes of the Bulls front office and coaching staff, and maybe incite a removal of Patim and inserting one of them into the final 15. Ooh. Okay, so with that, let's move on to the last thing I wanted to touch on today. It was making its rounds around NBA Twitter. You saw it first, Dave, and threw it into our Bulls Slack because it got aggregated by NBA Central. Yeah. And usually, I think, for the most part, NBA Central, for all the aggregating that account does a more respectable job than others.
Agreed. Which is why I even put it in there.
This one was a kind of haphazard aggregation of something Joe Cowley wrote the other day.
This was a Monday morning thing.
Yeah. Still a little drunk from the first football Sunday of the season.
Exactly.
So, in case you missed it, this is from a report that Cowley had, and the little excerpt that they were aggregating was Cowley saying, unable to unload the oft-injured two-time All-Star, Zach LaVine, since last season, AK and Eversley need to do everything they can to repair a damaged relationship with LaVine and build him up enough to help them persuade other teams at trade deadline time. Logical sentence to me. I don't see anything, amiss with that. NBA Central kind of turned it into like the Bulls are actively trying to repair their relationship with Zach in a way that made it, the phrasing made it sound like more of a report of something new.
Agreed.
As opposed to just like, hey, this is the situation that we're all dealing with right now.
Right, agreed.
On top of that, shout out to our guy Eli Schuster of Bleacher Nation Bulls. We had him on one of our recent shows, I think, a couple weeks ago. He was writing something else, I think before this Cowley article even dropped, about how if you've been paying really close attention, like those of us who are Bulls content nerds do, those of us diehard Bulls fans out there do, you may have noticed that there's a lot of Zach LaVine in social media stuff that the Bulls have been putting out this offseason, and especially as we're nearing the end of offseason and gearing up for training camp.
Okay.
In a way that Eli's, a hypothetical proposal was like, is this me overthinking something, or is it a thought out plan or strategy of some kind from the Bulls front office and collectively all the way down through PR, their social media team, their content team, to remind Zach and remind the NBA world, hey, this Zach LaVine guy's still here, and we still like and appreciate him, and he's really good. Like, they put out a top 10 Bulls dunks of all time thing earlier, like a couple weeks ago. He was in it twice. And no disrespect to Zach, one of the best dunkers in NBA history, but I was like, Bulls franchise history? You tell me Zach's in there twice? We had MJ.
We did.
It's just one example. They also put him in their, like, good luck Bears tweet that went out, I think, yesterday morning alongside Kobe White. And I am a little, tinfoil hat here, but, like, it seems like there's a lot of that going on. And is it because they are, as Cowley said in that excerpt, trying really hard to maybe repair a relationship that's fractured with their, their star who they can't trade?
So I can't speak to it from the sense of like, I know this is what they're trying to do. I agree that it looks that way, but I think also it's just kind of as simple as, look, Zach is here. They can't trade him. They got to make this work. They got to figure out a way to make this work because this is the situation that they find themselves in. you can put aside the trade agreement request thing. You can put aside the trade shopping stuff from last summer. You can put aside the max. This is the situation that they're in right now, and Zach's going to be on this team right now. You got to make it work because there's no way for them to move forward where they're butting heads, where Zach's unhappy and doesn't want to play, where he's sabotaging the. I'm not saying he's going to do that. I don't think he will. But that's you can't just you can't let it get to that point because there's no way out at this juncture. They just can't do it. They can't make a trade. They've tried. They can't do it. So to me, it's let's figure out a way to make this work. Same as the trade thing. Okay, if this is the direction we're going to go, let's get in on it with you. Let's try to figure out a home where Zach's going to be happy. I think it's very similar in this situation where, okay, Zach's going to be stuck here. Bulls can't move him. Let's figure out a way to make this work together. Let's try to rehab this as much as possible. I'm not saying that the relationships are broken. I think there was also a line in this about Billy Donovan going to visit Zach in LA this summer and try to work on their relationship a little bit. I think this is just it. This is kind of where they are, what they have to be doing, because again, the only way out of this is Zach proves that he is a really damn good basketball player, which I think we all know he can get back to that point, but he has to prove it. And the way to do that is to get back on the court, to be in, have a good relationship with your coaching staff where they trust you, where you trust them, to put each other in the best situations so that you can look as best you can, so that then eventually you can move on when the time comes. But right now, this is where they are. And I think they just have to, both sides have to figure out a way to make it work as best they can.
Yeah. Have you ever had a fight with a significant other or even a family member and the apology isn't said, I'm sorry, or I apologize? They'll say something like, hey, you want something to eat?
Dennis Rodman going to MJ's hotel room and asking him for a cigar.
Which
is an apology.
Which is an apology.
In his own way.
Nonverbal, but extending the olive branch.
Exactly. Extending that olive branch. That's exactly what this is.
Sometimes you got to accept the olive branch.
You have to. And especially when you have no other choice. What else are you going to do? You can't hold that grudge because you can't go anywhere. This is what it is. So they're trying. They're reaching out in their kind of way. I didn't even notice that. You're right. Putting him in twice. It's wow. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? I see it and I get it. You can't do anything with him. He can't go anywhere. There's nothing. They're kind of at a stalemate. The league has told you what they feel about you. They've said it. And it doesn't matter if you guys want to get rid of it. It's just not going to happen right now. So you have to see it through until you can get to a point where the league actually opens that conversation back up, which will happen. That conversation will happen again, hopefully sooner than later. But that's what it is. They're extending that olive branch. Hopefully Zach sees it and reaches out. And, they have to start the season right. It's a line on the line for both of them optically to start this correctly.
BDB in the comments saying Zach's been a stand-up guy. The bench bomb is back. I think it'll be fun. And, again, I think that it bears repeating. For the most part, I would say Zach LaVine has maintained a impressive level of professionalism throughout all of this, and there have been trade talks with his name attached to it for years years now. And he's handled it well, I think, other than maybe a misstep here or there. I would say 90% he has handled it well when it's not a fun position to be in. But you do wonder when it's, okay, are the Bulls extending an olive branch on their end to say, hey, we're so glad you're here. We like you. We'll do what we can, go out there and ball. Sure. If you still want to move, we'll keep looking for you. Mm-hmm. At the meantime, you just wonder how much of his ego is he willing to be bruised and for how long? When it comes to this situation that he's in. And look, again, it's not tinfoil hat. It's just something I noticed because I was driving home on Saturday from Mich. I'm coming around 94 and then, the Chicago Skyway, Northwest Indiana, and what used to be a bunch of Zach LaVine billboards for his endorsement deal with Midwest Express Clinic, I think it is. Mm-hmm. Those billboards have all been replaced, and it is still Midwest Express Clinic billboards, but it's now Kobe White's face on them instead of Zach LaVine's.
Right.
Kobe White also has a new commercial out for, I think, that same healthcare group, Midwest Express Clinic. I don't know if Zach ever got a commercial with them. It's I'm not saying that this is a concrete, your team, my team power struggle, that we're going into training camp where Zach's still here and he's like, hey, this is still my team. Yeah. And Kobe White is saying, hey, you're old news. is my team now because of the season I just had. I'm not putting those words in either of their mouths. I'm just sitting here as a fan who's watching what's going on and seeing this saying, man, Zach's ego's got to be hurting. And how will that affect, as Eli also brought up in his write-up, like a hypothetical toxic locker room situation?
Yeah, I don't think that it's going to get there. I just don't think, like, the problem has never been, like, Zach and his teammates. I think that, like, this I don't want to, like, make any accusations, but this was the same thing that happened when Derrick Rose came back from injury and Jimmy Butler had taken over. It's like, is there going to be friction now? Whose team is it? It's like, this team is, like, not going to be in the play-in race. There doesn't need to be friction of, like, I think this is also a separate thing than what Brandon Ingram is going through right now with the Pelicans, where it's like he posted some, passive aggressive Instagram about how he doesn't like not being appreciated. He didn't go to the team, like voluntary OTAs. Yeah. Like, he is trying to get paid. Mm-hmm. He is trying to not get hurt this season because that will affect his ability to get paid. Sure. And he wants a contract commensurate with how he feels he is as a player. Mm-hmm. And how he feels is probably that same max that Jamal Murray just got, $208 million over 4 years. Zach's paid already. He's got 3 years of 30% max coming his way. So he knows what matters to Zach right now. And again, I'm not speaking for Zach. This is just my third person perspective looking at this, is like, for Zach, it's like, in order to get what he wants, he needs to play well. Yes. He needs to get out there and play well. Yeah. And not only play well, but prove that he can be a part of a team and still succeed at a high level. Because that's the knock on him. It's health, and it's, can he fit into a team and play winning basketball? Yeah. And I think, if anything, if you're talking about like bruised egos, like that's what he has to have come away from the past year with, is like, this is not the Zach LaVine show anymore. It can't be.
Right.
And it's not about like Zach's not good enough, and it's not about Kobe White's like the guy now. I don't think that's it at all. I think it's, how does Zach be the best version of himself that also fits into a team system that helps a team win? Because that's what's going to make Zach look the best. And ultimately, that's what's going to make people fall back in love with Zach, and or it's going to be what gets him moved, which is, I think, what he still ultimately wants. So to me, I don't think that there's going to be any messiness within the locker room. I know Kobe and Zach really like each other. They've worked together for 6 years now. Yeah. They're cool. They're friends. Like, Kobe and Zach get along very well. I also can see why it would be maybe like an awkward situation, but as soon as they get back in the locker room and they're playing, I think it'll be fine. Agreed. To me, it's more a matter of like, can the Bulls find a way to put Zach in a position to succeed and look good doing it? Yeah. That is the challenge that the Bulls face now up until the trade deadline. And I think, to me, it's like the Bulls have to kind of go out of their way to not just like cater to Zach and do whatever he says, but like make sure that he is in a role where he looks good, because that's going to help both sides get what they want.
And I think also, to your point, like, there's a reason that Ingram can act that way, because the things that you said Zach has to prove, he's already proven.
He's already got the money.
So he doesn't have to prove that he can play winning basketball or stay healthy for a long time. Like, all of that is on his resume. Mm-hmm. So now he can come out and, be passive aggressive on a Instagram post. He can do all those things, and because he doesn't want to be there, that's fine. There'll be a team that says, we might want to take a run at you because we know what you can prove. Zach, as you mentioned, is just in a whole different kind of position, because not only is it what he has to do on the court, it's what he has to do off the court also as well. So he's in such an interesting position that it's just going to be important from game one and maybe from training camp that Zach comes in and shows that he can be a part of this team, and he can be a guy that affects winning for this team. Like, that is very important without rubbing people the wrong way, or it being shown on the outside, you know what I mean, that it's rubbing people the wrong way. So he's got a lot to prove, man, and I think that he can do it,
though. Julia in the comments saying maybe this new change of the Bulls will help Zach's attitude. Change of Bills will help his new attitude, because clearly he is not him. Julia also pointed out earlier that, Clutch didn't do Zach a whole lot of favors, and I think that factor is important to remember also in this. Is like, I think that maybe some of the things when I was saying Zach's handled it with like 90% as best and professionalism as you would hope and expect as a fan of the team, that maybe some of that 10% where it's not great is, also on his advisors.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while.
Pointing him in certain directions.
Yeah, you definitely been on that for sure. Absolutely. And we'll see.
Okay, before we wrap up, just real quick reminder, if you aren't already, now's a great time to sign up to become a CHGO diehard.
Do that.
Because
Why?
you get discounts to come hang out with us at our CHGO Bears tailgates, the first of which was yesterday, and a flawlessly wonderful time.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody who put the work in to make it happen. Shout out to everybody who showed up.
Yes.
Discounts on not only that, but all of our fun takeovers that we do. Cubs, Sox, Bulls, Blackhawks. All of those events you get discounts on. You get 20% off every time you shop at our CHGO locker.
Yes, we do.
New awesome merch dropping all the time.
All the time.
Get yourself some new, franchise. So after the Bears dub, we got a new Claws Out one. Love that one.
Oh, yes.
Get yourself a Claws Out shirt from that ALLCITY merch locker. Of course, the best when it comes to the content from our credentialed reporters, just like Willigo Gottlieb here, is for diehards only, as is that diehards only Discord. One channel in that Discord to hang out and chat with us, with all of your fellow diehard fans. And plus, you get that free shirt, whichever one you want, when you sign up. Tons of reasons all the time to sign up to become a CHGO diehard. It is just pennies a day. And I mean that. I mean like less than half $1, pennies a day for an annual membership to join the Cool Kids Club and become a CHGO diehard. And speaking of, shout out to those of you who have, including from over the weekend, Dan, Michael, Jeremy, and Jordan. Michael, Matthias, George, Duncan, Richard, Robert, Stacy, and William. I gave William a little bit of that raquez.
Whip. Cool whip.
Cool whip. I will.
Whip.
I will forget it. So, yes, shout out to all the diehards out there. Appreciate you. Come hang out with us. Come sign up.
Yes.
So, we are, about a month, less than a month now away from Bulls training camp.
We are.
Beginning. Very interesting storylines leading into it.
Very.
A couple of new names joining the crew. At Advocate Center, no Nashville. Okay? I don't care where they are. Very curious to just see what Billy Donovan does with this crew.
Yeah.
That is it for today. We are out of time. Shout out again to this crew for holding it down while I took some time off last week. Appreciate you guys very much so. We are back in the saddle. Follow Joey on Twitter for all of his Longhorn stakes at Joey Spathis.
That's right.
Congrats on the dub. Willigo Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb, Big Day, Bow, BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Colin, no Fu Manchu. But yes, as you can see, some facial hair is on my face. It'll look different come training camp. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great Monday night. See you, Red. Be good.
Peace.